welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and to shed more light on the same issue, the 230th Zaid Al-Izza aid convoy to Gaza. We are most delighted to be joined by Dr. Mohamed Ezaby, the international relation expert. A very good afternoon to you, Dr. Mohamed. Thank you for being with us.
Afternoon to you, and I'm very happy
Dr.
to be
Mohamed,
with
sorry,
you.
I
as
can't
always.
hear you.
Good afternoon to you, and I'm very happy. Hello? Hello?
Okay, hello. It's a pleasure having you on NLTV International, Doctor. Can you please tell us what is the strategic significance of launching the 230th Zaid Al-Izza aid convoy in this critical time from Egypt's side?
Well, from the first day, that Egypt insists to support Gaza, and Gaza includes the medical aid to help all hospitals, all Gazan hospitals, to still continue work and to still make their operations and help Gazan people to be to have a great cure. So Egypt now send many thousands of tons of humanitarian aid and many thousands of tons of medical aid to Gaza through Zaid Al-Izza.
Yes.
All countries send their aid to El Arish, and from El Arish and from Rafah cross borders,
Yes.
it delivered to Gazan people in Gaza.
Yes, well, Dr. Mohamed, also, how does Egypt view the long-term impact of these regional escalations on the collective peace and the stability of the Arab world?
Well, Egypt always, as His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, always announced we don't need to use weapons to solve any struggle. We need to use diplomacy. So Egypt, through an instrument from speech of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to Dr. Badr Abdel Ati, Egypt moves and use diplomacy and make a great many calls to Arab leaders and European leaders, try to put all the world on their responsibilities to end any struggle, especially the war of Iran after what is happening yesterday, and try to put an end for this, especially if the war began again, it will be wider and it will be a regional war, especially Egypt now support Lebanon after the deal of ceasefire between Lebanon and Israel. Also, Egypt try by the announcement of Hamas movement that they will let the government system and Hamas, Egypt try now to force Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli government to move to phase 2 of Sharm el-Sheikh agreement. We don't need to continue in Iran war, especially if this war start again. It will make a lot of problems, especially to Lebanon, to Yemen, Iraq, and Gaza.
Yes.
So Egypt now make a great calls with all European leaders, and Dr. Badr Abdel Ati make calls with European foreign ministers and Arab foreign ministers, try to put an end for this war before it starts again.
Well, Dr. Mohamed, also in your point of view, as you mentioned for Dr. Badr Abdel Ati, what does the foreign minister's strong condemnation of these repeated attacks signal about Egypt's readiness to support its Gulf allies?
Well, Dr. Badr Abdel Ati, his last calls with European and Arab foreign ministers, he assured that we need to make the ceasefire agreement and between Iran and the United States to be continued. We need to facilitate the negotiations between Iran and the United States.
Yes.
We don't need to put any problems in this deal. But what is happening yesterday from United States and start to attack Iran again will put all the Middle East area in a great catastrophe. It will lead Iran to start as they did. They attack Bahrain and Kuwait, and always Egypt refuse any kind of attacks towards Arab countries. So what will happen, what will be happen in the next hours, will Egypt try to put an end to this strikes from United States and from Iran too, and return back to the table to negotiate about the final deal of ceasefire.
Yes, Dr. Mohamed, also in what ways does Egypt dual focus on the humanitarian leadership in Gaza and to defend the solidarity in the Gulf and its role as the region's main anchor of stability? What's in your point of view?
If we to force Benjamin Netanyahu to move to phase 2 and Sharm el-Sheikh agreement, it will mean that Egypt and all Arab countries will start to think in reconstruction in Gaza Strip. So if we start reconstruction, it will help the area of Lebanon and Gaza to have some kind of safety, some kind of peace for some time. That's why Egypt now try to make some efforts to stop any kind of wars between Iran and the United States again, and put an end to this war before it starts again, not to affect the efforts of Egypt towards Gaza and Lebanon.
Yes, and as we know also that Egypt has explicitly defined security and this sovereignty for the Gulf nations like Kuwait and Bahrain as an inseparable part of its own national security. Why does Egypt do such acts?
Well, Egypt considers the national security of Gulf countries as a kind of national security of Egypt, because the Gulf countries as an Arab countries, and we are, we can say we are brothers, and if anything happened to Gulf countries, it will affect Egypt, it will affect the maritime and Red Sea, it will affect Bab el-Mandeb. So we don't need to affect Egypt economically, so Egypt needs to save the Gulf countries, to stand with Gulf countries in front of any attacks, because the one who attacked Iran is the United States.
Yes.
So if Iran want to answer, they will answer to the United States, not to Gulf countries.
Well, Dr. Mohamed Ezaby, the international relation expert, thank you so much for joining us through Zoom and for commenting on the 230th Zaid al-Izza aid convoy from Egypt's side to Gaza. Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, a short break and we'll be right back to continue the Cairo Watch. And you're still on the Cairo Watch and continuing our episode. The joint Egyptian-Turkish military drill, the Golden Eagle, began on Wednesday with the participation of the special forces from both countries, notably Egyptian preparators and the commander forces. The multi-day drills runs at the combat exercises field under the command of Egyptian parachutes and the commanders corpses. The first phase of the drill included attending the class lectures in different topics with the aim of identifying terms used in Operation